I wonder why so many women believe confidence is a mascot versus their own self expression. Okay, I want to dive deeper into the subject. It actually is something very near and dear to my heart. Let me know in the chat if you all can hear me. I want to revisit confidence again. I wonder why so many women believe confidence is a mascot versus their own self expression. Okay, let me know in the chat your thoughts on what defines confidence or what makes you a confident person. All right, those of you who have worked with me before, what's going down? If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Pearl Noir, and I help women, femmes, non-binary people heal themselves through the art of burlesque. We focus on the body, we focus on the inner child, we focus on the higher self, ancestors, all that jazz. And so I have this beautiful question that I have that I wrote down, right? So I have over 800 testimonials on Instagram alone, but some women do find my approach to burlesque and liberation very challenging, right? They find it challenging at first because of their commitment to the mascot. And when I say the mascot, I mean this idea that sexiness, that confidence is supposed to look a certain way. And when you come into this environment where you're thinking about your healing, you're thinking about your liberation, but at the end of the day, in your mind, you're telling yourself, well, the healing, the liberation, the burlesque, the sexiness, it has to look a certain way. You're already disconnected from your goals. You're already disconnected from the liberation, etc., etc. Okay, so I want to dive deeper into this. And I find that when women are working with me and they have this issue, what's happening is the mascot, first of all, we want to honor that they didn't create the mascot, right? So if you are a woman and you're saying to yourself, I want to come back home to my body, and you're looking at heels classes, you're looking at burlesque classes, you're watching my channel, you're like, that's it. And you have to understand that you think the confidence and the sexiness is supposed to look a certain way because of society, maybe religious beliefs or cultural brainwashing, and in some cases, abuse, okay? I wrote these things down. Here's how it shows up. And this is why you're disconnected from your body, right? You're trying to mimic the connection you see a stranger has to their body, or what you imagined that the connection is, okay? So tell me in the chat if this is you. Many women internalize the idea that confidence must look a certain type of way, and it belongs to a certain type of woman, a certain type of person, right? And so usually it's a thin person. Or if you're black and southern like me, it's a brick house, right? It's a loud person. It's a flawless person. It's a person who's extroverted, right? Or overtly sexual, or what you deem to be sensual, rather than what you are. So when I work with a lot of women, especially in the one-on-one connections that we have, right? They'll book a one-on-one and they're like, I want you to help me feel more sexy. I was in your class and I didn't look like this person. I didn't look like that person. Or, I just don't feel like I'm desirable because I'm not sexy. And what I love to remind people, and this is something I had to teach myself to fall in love with myself, being the dark-skinned black girl with the little booty, okay? And little booties matter too. I had to teach myself that sexiness was not a mascot. Sexiness was not something that I needed to put on. Sexiness, there was no blueprint for it in the sense of step 1, this is how you get to sexiness. Step 2, this is how you get to sexiness. But sexiness is the embodiment of you living in your truth. I will repeat that for you. Okay, I see a bullseye in here, and thank you. Sexiness is the embodiment of you living in your truth. And so when you really dive deep into the iconic people that we have deemed sexy throughout time, the Josephine Bakers, the Marilyn Monroes, the Eartha Kitts, the Grace Jones, whoever it is, They're not sexy because they're wearing some sort of uniform. Now, they may be glamorous because they've got on these glamorous clothes. They may be a star, and it's being pushed onto us that they are sexy, that they are confident. But the confidence and the sexiness is coming from them being willing to be seen. So if you are trying to tap into your confidence, you're trying to tap into your sexiness, you're trying to tap into your power, you have to be willing to see yourself. When I say being willing to be seen, a lot of times people panic and it's like, oh, I got to go and perform. I got to put on airs. I got to put on a new personality for people. But no, it's not that. There's got to be a willingness to be open and cut open deep with yourself. And so many of you are afraid to open up yourself. But let me tell you, you ain't afraid to open up to somebody else. Hello, who's in here? Who's up in here? Put a pow in the chat if I'm talking to you. Pow, give it to me. You are not afraid to open up to someone else. But we all do it. It's like you start feeling good and you stop yourself from feeling good unless someone else is there to validate you. Or, the thing when people start feeling happy, how many times have you seen other people or you yourself have stopped yourself from crying in a public space when you're happy? Why? Because you're like, oh, I don't want anyone to see me being this open. So your confidence is a willingness for you to strip right in front of yourself. Okay. Let me go to these comments. Okay, let's see. My whole life I was bullied about my body. Okay, today I take no shit from anyone. Right. And listen, I share that sentiment, right? Like being bullied about something that I could not change my entire life. And the thing that I had to do was make sure I wasn't bullying my goddamn self. Okay, dummy. Yes. Okay, let's see. Oh, the body consent, y'all. This is one of my HTS children. Let's see. I remember my one-on-one with you and you said that they ain't looking for me. They looking for you. Okay. Looking for you. Perfect. Yes. Okay. So here is the other thing that you need to watch out for. When confidence becomes a costume, you perform instead of express. Okay. You end up mimicking what you've seen instead of honoring what you feel. So a lot of women and femmes and non-binary people, when they work with me, the number one reason they want to work with me is because of the disconnection they feel to their body. And I'm here to tell you there are so many reasons you're disconnected to this body of yours. One, you may not be using this very app that we're on the right way. For a lot of you, including myself, this is the space where your ancestors are trying to reach you. This is not the space where you're supposed to be doom scrolling. You're supposed to use this platform to be inspired, and your people are trying to reach through this frequency to speak to you directly. Honey, who am I speaking to now, aside from myself? This is the platform where you're supposed to be inspired by the people that you see, not allow yourself to want to mimic what you see. See, there's a difference between inspiration and mimicking. Okay. So inspiration is saying, yes, this is showing me that there's proof that I can still go on. Inspiration is saying, yes, look at this woman being so free. She looks like me, or she looks like someone I love, or I see the light in her, and understanding that the inspiration means when you look at me, I'm a mirror for you. I'm showing you your own very reflection. So there's no need to try to mimic. Now, mimicking is what's going to make you feel disconnected, because mimicking is you putting on another unnecessary hat. Mimicking is you code switching once again. And you don't need to code switch when it comes to your liberation. Okay, I'm coming through. Okay, the body consents road. Come on, Pearl. Okay, I'm coming through. All right, so I want to make sure that you are making sure that you don't mimic. So, an example of this is wanting to come to my class that says healing through seduction, and hearing me say we're going to heal through the art of burlesque, but then coming into my class and being gagged that we're not doing traditional choreography. Well, I want it to look like this. Or mimicking is a lot of times women come into my class and they're like, I want to look like you. I want this liberation. And I'm like, great. You know, they're like, okay, well, how can I work with you in person? How can I start the dancing now? And I'm like, see, it doesn't work like that. If you are trying to be liberated and dance the way that I do, then you have to be willing to do the healing work that I do, which is why I start you out with the online practice, which is why you start with the teas versus being invited to come with me in New York City, right? So a lot of people want to mimic my liberation. And the way I'd like to compare it is, I'm over here like, here's this bomb ass macaroni and cheese recipe. Everyone's gonna love it. And then I'm like, but make sure you honor all the steps. And then people are like, oh, okay, yeah, Pearl, no problem. And then they try to make the macaroni and cheese and they don't get the same results that I get when I serve the macaroni and cheese, and they come back to me mad. Now, Pearl, I did what you said. I tried to have this macaroni and cheese and nobody's eating it. And the first thing I say, well, did you boil the noodles, baby? See, mimicking confidence, mimicking liberation, mimicking sexiness is the equivalent to trying to serve people macaroni and cheese with unboiled noodles. You've got to boil the noodles before you serve the macaroni and cheese. So when I'm coming on here telling you, I don't do choreography, I do moving affirmations, I'm trying to give you the exact blueprint, but y'all keep fighting me. But that's okay. I'm not going to give up on you. I'm going to keep on coming on here until you get it. Yes, we have to make this gumbo. I'm going to give you the recipe for the gumbo, but you have to make it your own. You can't try to mimic my taste. Okay? You can't mimic my taste, right? So here's the other thing. When confidence becomes, I'm going to repeat this for the people who didn't hear. When confidence becomes a costume, you perform instead of express. You end up mimicking what you have seen instead of honoring what you feel. This is what I know happens. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And this is the number one reason why not only do I have you start online with me, but the cameras are off. I very rarely use Zoom. I use a private platform to ensure you are not looking at the person in the next box. If you work with me in person, if they have curtains, I'm going to cover the mirrors or ask you to turn away, because I know for a fact that you won't be able to help. No matter how powerful you may be, we all, myself included, we all have to make a conscious decision daily to deconstruct the brainwashing from society, to deconstruct the brainwashing from any harm we have experienced from religion. The key word is harm, okay? We want to deconstruct any brainwashing we have received culturally and from our families, who are beautiful people, but they are not perfect. So they are going to pass down foolishness to us as well as power. Okay, so these are the reasons why I don't use mirrors and I use a private online platform. If I do Zoom for my online classes, I have everyone turn their cameras off. The mascot version of sexiness keeps women, femmes, non-binary people disconnected from their bodies because they're constantly checking themselves. Do I look the part? Am I doing it right? Right? So this is why I don't offer choreography classes. The problem with the choreography classes, if you're trying to be as liberated as I am, if you are trying to heal through the art of burlesque, not do burlesque, not perform it, right? This is for people who are trying to heal and be liberated through this art form. I don't offer the choreography because when it's choreography, you're automatically going to start mimicking each other. When we're all doing the same thing, when we all look the same without any kind of invitation to put our own spin on things, this is where people can leave a dance class, a burlesque class, a sexy class, and still feel disconnected from the body. So that's why in my coaching sessions, I invite everyone to do what I call moving affirmations. So I love my beautiful brown skin is going to translate differently energetically within yourself versus 5, 6, 7, 8. And a 5, 6, 7, 8 can be so powerful. But again, we're talking about my approach to burlesque. And by the way, I am the iconic one. So you might want to just actually listen to me. And I'm not just saying I'm iconic. For those who are new to me, you know, my bio is pages long. Okay. So this is why I don't offer choreography when I do my keynotes about healing through burlesque, or when I teach my classes, right? I focus on offering rituals only. Here's the other thing I wrote down. In my classes, I often witness women struggle with the first few burlesque rituals, not because they lack confidence, but because they believe it has to look a certain way to count. So many women, this is another reason why I no longer allow people to start in New York City. So many women back in the day would come to my NYC classes without ever looking me up, without doing any research on how I present burlesque. Okay, thank you for confirming the iconic status. Without understanding the reason why I'm iconic is because my powerful approach to burlesque. And they would come into these classes without working with me online first. And, you know, I'm in there with all the legendary children. And I'm like, all right, we're going to ask our body for consent. They don't know what that means. I say, okay, let's breathe in. Let's moan out. We start moaning in harmony, and it's their first time with me. So they start feeling away. And when I would ask, you know, how they're doing, a lot of these women, when they would come, they were expecting to play dress up when it came to their liberation. And then they were like, oh, y'all are serious in here. And so this is why there's a whole process, because so many of them would come to class, and because it didn't look the way they told themselves they were going to look dancing with me, they shut down. And this is the disconnect. When you believe your confidence is a mascot, this is how you become disconnected. Okay? Another thing that stops people is the belief in a confidence mascot, as I've been saying. Believing in this confidence mascot creates shame around quiet, soft, subtle power, soft sensuality, soft, playful awkwardness, and all the delicious forms that truth can take. So when you tell yourself, I'm not sexy because I'm not built like a brick house, I'm not thin, I'm not white, I'm not black, I'm not this, you take yourself away from you. And the sexiness, again, is the embodiment of you living in your truth. Your sexiness, your power, it doesn't have to look a certain way. And it most certainly isn't reserved for the outspoken. It isn't reserved for the girls and boys who dress a certain way. It isn't reserved for the red lip wearers of the world. It can be for you with your awkwardness, so-called awkwardness. So I'm hoping that I'm getting through to you. Your transformation with your body is going to happen once you stop asking yourself to do it right. And once you start saying, instead of, am I doing it right? Am I being honest when I do it? Am I being open to myself when I do this? Do I even give myself consent to do this? Does my body want this in this moment? And again, I've had many people come to my classes and have to sit it out. And they're crying at the end because in their mind, they were going to be sexy. And that meant doing the choreography. That meant doing all the things. And then I asked them, well, was it about you being confident, or were you coming in here to audition for who knows what, you know? And, oh, you're very, very welcome. And I'm not done. I'm still in here. Drop any questions that you all may have in the chat. And also, I have workshops coming up. I have a free training tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can head to the link in the bio for that. And you can also come to the next tease, which is on June 14th. I highly recommend starting with a free preview. So just DM me the word tease and I'll get you going here. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I want to read y'all this newsletter that I sent out, and I also sent out a Q&A form for my private app. And here are some, I want to just read what I wrote about my own confidence journey in my recent newsletter on Sunday, and then again read some of the questions. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments about anything that I've said, feel free to share them in the chat. And let me just go up and make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, someone wrote, "This is so good." I don't know if you're still here. Okay, the Tantric Mystic, but thank you. Okay. Till this day, I still feel like I need to lose weight. Okay. Or be more fit, even though my size is totally average. You know what what's coming to me? I'm not sure if you're still here. Okay. But sometimes the weight that we want to lose isn't the physical weight. Sometimes the weight that we need to lose, like if your body is constantly telling you, I need to lose weight, it could be conditioning, right? It could be an invitation to break free from brainwashing, or it could be a spiritual weight. Like maybe there's some joy that you need to acknowledge, right? And that joy is fighting to come out, but maybe you're letting other things override that. You know, maybe the weight has to do with your mentality, your emotional connection to self. So again, just, hey, ask yourself, is this physical weight or is this weight that wants to leave? That's something else. So let me read this story to you all that I sent. Okay. I said, "Hey y'all, I have a message and a story to share with you. Back in 2003, I was standing on a stage at the House of Blues in New Orleans, drenched in sweat and sequins and my banana skirt as I paid homage to Josephine Baker. And the entire room, every single person, all 100 people were on their feet. I received a full house standing ovation, and this is the kind of moment that performers dream about. And yet, I let one naysayer shake me. I don't remember their exact words, just the feeling they left with me. Like I wasn't enough, like I hadn't earned the applause. Instead of standing in my power, I let doubt creep in. I played small. Years later, I was performing at a circus in Spain. The audience was electric, but behind the scenes, jealousy from other burlesque performers was louder than the applause I was receiving every night. At that time, everyone kept telling me how much they hated that I danced barefoot, right? They said real burlesque performers wear heels. So I convinced myself that I had something to prove, and I attempted my signature backflip and slow middle split with heels on for the first time, and I heard it. I heard the pop over the music. I let doubt and jealousy from naysayers rid me of my own confidence, rid me of a moment that I had manifested for myself. The dark-skinned girl from the hood, the girl who escaped a life of being trafficked, right? And now the gag is 20 plus years later, everyone focuses on barefoot acts or high energy acts because she's a what? Visionary, okay? So burlesque is healing because it teaches confidence. But what I learned and what I'm trying to teach you 20 years later is that confidence can't be choreographed. It's not something you perfect in a mirror. It's not something you debut under a spotlight. Confidence is a series of choices, a commitment to honoring every version of yourself, even the one that's still afraid. So confidence is also a commitment to romancing your fear. Confidence is a commitment to being courageous with yourself in a way that feels aligned, in a way that feels safe. Confidence is a commitment to romancing yourself. Confidence is an invitation for you to honor every part of your story so far, not just little sentences, not just a period here, a comma here, an exclamation point. So the confidence is a commitment to you. I also said in this newsletter that, the confidence also is about your commitment to looking quote unquote crazy. So how are you talking to yourself? Do you dare speak out loud to yourself in a kind way? Do you dare speak out loud in a nice way in your mind, right? How many of us have said once before, I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm gonna keep this to myself. I'm not gonna do too much to go after this and that. And so you bring those kind of habits to your healing journey as well. So however you treat yourself when you're going after your other goals, for your career, your romantic goals, your spiritual goals, if you go into them judging yourself, not believing that you are worthy of yourself. Again, notice I keep bringing it to self. Worthy of yourself. Worthy of your journey. That's what confidence is about. All right. So I will see if we have any questions in the chat. I saw one that I always get. People always say, how did I get started? I'm going to invite you to go to the link in my bio, and you'll go to my website and you'll be able to really dive deep on my wonderful and so blessed 20 plus year in burlesque. And the reason why I send people to my bio to go to my website is because my burlesque journey is not, the typical traditional one. And I find that a lot of times when people are asking me, how did I start? They're looking for a certain type of answer because of where they're going in their journey. But I will say my burlesque career has always been about healing. It's always been a ritual. And my burlesque career started because a pimp, my pimp at the time, I was trafficked, I was tricked. My pimp at the time had a dream from my ancestors to release me. I will say that I was born to have a burlesque revolution started. So feel free, if you're still here, to go to my bio and head to my website to just dive deeper into my story. All right, so let's get into a few questions. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. So this is a question that came in. How do you rebuild confidence after someone's criticism really gets to you? So you can build confidence after someone criticizes you, by admitting that you're hurt. First, let's start with the power of acknowledgement, the power of actually taking time to sit, to actually process, to cry, to dance through it. And usually the criticism hurts so much is because your mind then can say, gotcha. Your mind, the parts of you that's the shadow part that you haven't danced with yet, that you haven't caressed, that you haven't seduced, that you haven't loved on, says, see, I told you so, right? It usually hurts when their criticism mirrors our own. Is anybody here? Am I speaking to anybody? I'll wait. I'll just drink a little something to see who's still here. Let me know you're up in here because I'm going for it. The body consents. Are you still here, honey? I see some hearts there. The criticism usually hurts because it mirrors your own. And so if the criticism hurts, let's find out why. Is it because you believe it's true? If you do, then there's an invitation to grow. We want to get to the point to where evolution doesn't terrify us and it doesn't make us feel ashamed of ourselves. The other thing you have to ask yourself, is this criticism or is it jealousy from this person? And is it jealousy that mirrors your own jealousy for other people? Because sometimes when you are on the path, your people, your spiritual team will bring you to you. They will bring your ass to you. So this criticism, what does it mirror? Is it mirroring a way you've judged people? it may be an invitation to see how you can treat yourself with more compassion and kindness and romance. The other thing is, am I willing to listen to criticism from someone whose life I have no interest in mirroring, right? Like, one thing about me that rubs a lot of people the wrong way in my field is I don't take their criticism seriously because they haven't done a fraction of what I've done. They haven't decided to be bold. So I'm like, feel free to critique something you've never had the galls to do. To quote Megan Thee Stallion, honey, what are we talking about? That's that. The next question I got was, what does confidence feel like in the body, not just look like? Confidence in the body feels orgasmic. And not in the very traditional boom, boom, boom orgasm, but like the higher self, this uninhibited joy, this uninhibited freedom, this uninhibited peace. Still, it's very still. When you have the confidence that you need to have, it's very still energy. It's not seeking constant validation. It's not fighting. So a lot of times you are feeling confident, but you have to learn how to like peace. When you've been in fight or flight mode your entire life, you have to learn how to be peaceful. Okay. Another question that came in, what are some signs you're outsourcing your power? Okay. Or people pleasing without realizing it? I would say some of the signs would be not having, you would be restless. You'll be restless. For example, let's say you posted something on Instagram, right? And it's like, let's say you're a keynote speaker and you posted a clip of yourself speaking. Let's say you're a painter, you posted a painting. Let's say you're a coach, you posted a clip of yourself coaching. Let's say you're a performer, you posted a little clip of yourself performing. And the signs that you would be outsourcing your power, your confidence, the sign would be a telltale sign, I think that's how they say it, would be you being upset when you only see 1 or 2 likes. Instead of saying, oh my God, look at that. Or like you got 100 likes, or you got 15 likes, or you got a few views, or 1 or 2 people shared it and you're like, fuck, only 1 person shared this. Instead of being like, oh my God, me showing up in my truth helps someone not only show up in theirs, but by golly George, they were inspired to share it with a friend. Does that help? Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if this is helpful in the chat, please. Let me know. That's what it looks like. People pleasing. Now, this is something, because of my childhood wounds, I was taught, like many of the firstborn, the dark-skinned girl in the family, it's like my worth was how much I could suffer for my family. My worth was connected to how much I could sweep under the rug. So I learned from my family how to people please. And one of the things that I will always, walk with is people pleasing. And so for me, an example for myself that might resonate with you is like when I'm having my big dreams. And this is especially when I had like a big house full of burlesque daughters. And it was like every time that an opportunity came for me, I immediately went into like, okay, is this one going to be mad if they don't get the gig too? If this one going to be like, who's going to be mad at me? Right? Because when you are a mentor, when you are a burlesque mother, when you have proteges, whatever it is, any kind of mentorship that you might do or any kind of leadership role, what you have to understand is building community is not about trying to bring everyone with you. It's about bringing the select few who are aligned. And so the people pleasing or people pleaser in me would always not just think of this is my opportunity because of the 20 years I've been in the game, but I would think, who's going to be upset with me? Okay, if they don't get invited into this, I need to make sure I do something else for them, right? So that would be outsourcing my power and, quite frankly, disrespecting the power that I've created for myself. So that is how outsourcing your power or your confidence or people pleasing can show up for you. When you are upset, when you don't get quote unquote enough attention, or when you have some sort of anxiety about your wins, you know for a fact someone's going to be pissed. And quite frankly, all of the people I've ever fell out with, especially burlesque daughters, the through line is you didn't show up for me this time. The through line is you didn't do enough for me, right? So it's like 100 gifts, but this one gift maybe is going to someone else or just for me, and that's an issue. So now I know how to block those type of people from coming into my world because of the confidence that keeps building and building. Let me know if this is resonating for y'all. And the thing I want to say about seeking that validation from strangers, like you need to be very, very careful about seeking that validation and having your confidence be connected to strangers. It's very dangerous, right? And also, you know, if you can't respect the five eyes on you, why would your spiritual team, your ancestors, your guides, why would they send you any more attention when you clearly don't know how to honor what you already have? Okay? Here's another question that I got. Feel free, if you're still here, to put your questions in the chat. How has burlesque helped you repair your relationship with your body? So this is the number one thing that I teach in my workshop, the Tease, or my 3-month program, Healing Through Seduction. Burlesque is about autonomy. Burlesque is not about showing your body. It's about trusting your body when you do it my way, okay? Which, quite frankly, is the right way, okay? Period. So burlesque is the only art form that gives you full autonomy. And it helps you repair your relationship with your body because you are in a position to have autonomy. And not having autonomy, we don't have to go to anything dark. If you were alive, which I'm sure you were because you're here, during the pandemic when it first started, how many of us still had to work? How many times have you gone into work when you were sick, physically or mentally or emotionally? That's a moment where you did not have autonomy over your body. How many times have you let someone, I'm trying to be mindful of how I say it for the gram, but how many times have you opened up yourself to someone when you really weren't actually ready to go there, but you wanted to please them? That's a moment where you did not give yourself autonomy. Even if you ended up having fun, you love this person, right? So burlesque heals your connection to your body because you are put in a position to where nothing is going to happen to your body unless you tell it. Nothing is going to happen with your mind unless you say so. So there's also power in healing in storytelling. That's what makes burlesque so powerful when it comes to reclaiming your body. And again, if you are around tomorrow night, I'm doing my webinar, Healing Through Seduction, and I'll be sharing my framework, and I'll be sharing 5 of the rituals that we do in the Tease, okay, and Healing Through Seduction, which the Tease is a tease for Healing Through Seduction. You see what we did there? Ba-da-ba. All right, just go to the link in my bio to sign up for that free training. If you're feeling like you got it, go ahead and sign up for the Tease. It's happening June 14th. We start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's a 2-part series, okay? The first half is where we get into the burlesque rituals. We're going to reclaim ourselves. We take a little break. And then if you want to come back because you want to do the Q&A with me, you want to do the closing ceremony, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay, hold please. Now, I love this question. Pearl, you always talk about trusting your body. What does it mean to trust your body, and how can someone start doing that? Yes, yes, yes. Of course, you can start doing burlesque, but baby, don't go to anybody. Now, This is my own approach. So please don't try to go to a regular dance class trying to get this healing. That's not made for that. Okay. So what happens when you trust your body? It's about remembering. Now, I'm not going to say learning, remembering what you feel. There was a time in your life where you only moved the way your body told you. You put your hand on your hip because you felt like it. You shaked your hips from side to side because your body said, go for it, dance, heal, be free. And someone popped you and someone said, no. There was a time when you sang to the top of your lungs and someone said, no, not right now. There was a time when you said, this is what I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to do. And someone said, no, be more practical, be more mindful, submit, change, follow the crowd, be a sheep. And so because of all of those pops, all of those smacks, all of those moments where you were shut down, you learned how to stop trusting what you felt. That's the disconnection. But the good news is it's like riding a bike once you made the commitment to come home to yourself, right? And so when you learn how to hear your body more, right? Trust what you are actually feeling. This is why in the teas, we start with, in all of my workshops, we start with the self-consent ritual, right? And this is where we go from chakra to chakra, or erogenous zone to erogenous zone, where we ask the body for consent. So when I get up in the mornings, I ask my crown for consent. Let me trust in my legacy. I ask my third eye for consent. Let me trust in the visions. Let me trust in that, right? My throat. Let me trust in what I have to say. So before I got on here, it's like, I spoke to my spiritual team. I spoke to my body. I'm like, you know what you're doing. Go out here and say what's on your heart. Allow yourself to be heard, right? And so you go through where you actually speak to your body. You actually have a romantic connection to your body. You spend time with your body. You have more respect for it. And when you trust your body more, you trust your intuition. And when you trust your intuition, you trust your dreams. When you trust your dreams more, you trust your higher self, right? And then that leads to your spiritual team and all of that jazz. So everything is connected, okay? Now, this is the last question that I will respond to. I'm going to get off of here. Let's see. Do you have a burlesque ritual you use when you're feeling disconnected from yourself? Absolutely. So what I want to invite everyone to do, this is a ritual that we do in my classes, rubbing your hands together until they are too hot to touch. This is going to help you just kind of feel the sensation in your hands. You'll feel the burning, you'll feel the tingling. And what I want to invite you to do is tap into your inner burlesque queen. One thing that people love to see me do on stage when I perform burlesque is I allow the audience to witness me discovering my body, right? And to the blind eye, it looks like, oh, here's a woman caressing herself. But I know, my mind knows, my body knows that I'm saying affirmations. I'm saying that I love my brown skin. I always go back to that because that was the first thing I had to learn how to love, right? When it came to confidence, I did not have confidence unless I was dancing because I was told over and over and over from everyone in my life that I was ugly and that it was mostly because of my skin color. So my body positivity journey started with learning how to love this skin, something I cannot change, right? And so I recommend romancing your hands. So rubbing your hands together, allowing yourself to caress your skin with that tingling sensation, with that heat. What this is going to do is remind you that you're still here. It's going to remind you that you have control over your body in that moment. It's going to ignite all these different sensations and you get to play. So that is the burlesque ritual that I recommend, okay? And if you want to do these kind of rituals with someone aside from yourself, go to that link in my bio, sign up for one of my free previews. You can do a pre-recorded workshop or sign up for a live one. And that is what I have for y'all today. Okay, so your burlesque assignment is to release your dedication to your confidence mascot. All right. I am going to definitely upload this replay. Hopefully this was helpful. I hope to see y'all at the Tees June 14th. If you want information or if you want a free preview of that, just DM the word Tees or go to the link in my bio. All right, y'all, let's go.